Fans of the Horus Heresy, thank you very much for joining me for a model, rules and lore speculation review. Something a bit new there. And today we're going to be talking about the Forge World Iron Hands, Iron Father miniature in front of us. And then I'm going to talk about the rules for this unique HQ choice in the Space Marine Legion for the Iron Hands, and then I'm going to talk about the Iron Hands special character Autek Mor specifically, and speculate a little bit about what his origins may be. And I'll be very interested for you to hear what your comments are on my idea. Anyway, let's start with the model. So here we have this model. So this is a multi-part resin model. The Iron Father is clad in cataphracti patterned Terminator armour. He's carrying a power axe, he's equipped with a servo arm, and then also wields a Volkite charger. So let's get a closer look at this miniature. So it's a very nicely detailed model, this. And I think it's about £22. So as far as what Forge World character models go, it's not badly priced actually. It's very well detailed. There's the face of the Iron Father. Very good detailing, lots of cybernetic attachments. The Iron Hand on his front pauldron, and then repeated on his power axe. Obviously we're wearing the typical cataphractic armour, but it then has this additional detailing built in around the servo arm mounting, and there's a sort of targeting array perhaps mounted on the top there, and then we have the servo arm itself. And then a Volkite charger, which is a nice very nice looking weapon, well detailed and effective as well in game. So yeah, it's a very nice miniature. In terms of the quality of the model, if I were doing an out of a pack review, I would have given this a 6, and the reason for that was when I got this, the torso had a significant fault on it. And if you've watched my video about common Forge World issues, a big chunk of detail in this recess in the head area of the cataphractic army was completely obscured because it had been cast with a broken mould, so all of the fine cabling work had been completely lost, so I had to get the torso replaced. So given the nature of that detailing, that's one to watch out for if you buy this model. In terms of assembly, fairly straightforward. A couple of bits of advice: I pinned the wrist. I also mounted the axe in such a way that it touches his armoured greave, and I glued it there as well to give it additional stability. The servo arm, I put a small pin in here to increase the strength, and then I also pinned the wrist because the Volkite charger in the hand is one piece and the arm is part of the main torso. I also pinned that on as well because with the angle at that which is held, that could be very easily pinged off. So a few little tips there that you might want to consider for assembly to just make sure or try and minimise the risk of the model coming apart. But yeah, it's a nice model, and it's got all this. As well as the Iron Hand icons, it has this signature sort of a cogtooth adornment to the armour plates of his Terminator armour. So there we go. Right, so let's talk about the rules. So the Iron Father is a unique, is a Legion-specific unit. HQ choice, and it basically takes the same principle as a console Forge Lord option is for Centurion, and applies it to a Praetor. So you upgrade your Praetor to be an Iron Father, And what this does, for 40 points, you get a servo arm, Feel No Pain 6 plus, and the Battlesmith special rule. And if you do that, you sacrifice the ability to give him a jump pack, Space Marine bike, or Space Marine jet bike. So you basically create a Tech Marine turned up to maximum. So yeah, very and very uniquely Iron Hands as well, I suppose, given their affinity with the Machine God. Let's see. That's the rules. I mean, around that. I mean, I guess it as to whether or not you use it. It's a, do you think a Praetor Tech Marine is what you want to use? In big armored forces, clearly it's a powerful option. Right, now let's move on and talk about Autek Mor specifically. Right, so Autek Mor is a unique character for the Iron Hands. He was originally featured in Book 2 Massacre and then reappears again in the Istvan Legion lists as well. So he's an interesting character. So he's Ironfather Autek Mor, Lord of the Morrigold clan, the Maimed, the Blood-wrought. He's 225 points, and he's got a normal Praetor profile with a few additions, and this is what makes me particularly interested in Autek Mor. Instead of a normal Strength and Toughness 4, his Strength and Toughness are 5. Now, that's very, very high for a Marine, a Legion character, and we'll come back to that. However, you lose a point of initiative down to 4, and you also lose an attack down to 3. Apart from that, a standard Praetor profile. He wears Cataphractii armour, he has a servo arm, he gets a Cortex controller, so great to play with the head of a Gorgon and using Iron Scions, so battle automata. He gets a Paragon blade and a Volkite charger, so very well armed, and despite 3 attacks, a deadly opponent in melee, particularly combined with that toughness 5. So special rules, he's an independent character, he's fearless, he has Legions, Astartes, special rule, Iron Hands, bulky, Battlesmith, Master of Legion, and Jealous Command. So Jealous Command means he has to be your warlord unless Ferrus Manus is also present. And he has a unique warlord trait which is non-optional, which is called Murderous Arsenal. And what it means is him and a single infantry unit get the preferred enemy infantry special rule. So there's some great synergies. I mean, one way I play this is I have a heavy support squad with Volkite Culverins, and if I'm fielding more, I will normally give them the preferred enemy infantry rule. And if you throw a Master of a Signal into the mix, you've got something that can outshoot even Myrmidon Destructors, for example. So yeah, he's a very powerful character. But what really intrigues me about Autek Mor, been reading through some of the lore recently, is his strength and toughness of 5. No other Space Marine character has such a high stat line. Now, I've been through all 6 of the black books, and they're supporting red books, and I've tried to find a character with equivalent stats in that regard, and there simply isn't. I mean, these are the only of the 3 that deviate from a normal strength and 4 toughness. I mean, there is Alexis Pollux of the Imperial Fists, who is strength 5 but toughness 4. The demon Zardu Leak of the Crimson Apostle of the Word Bearers, he's strength 4, toughness 5. And then there's Endride Ha, the World Eater Loyalist, who is strength 4, toughness 5. So those are the only other Legion characters. I mean, I don't know if we could even count Zardu Leak as being a possessee, as being comparable, but the only other Legion characters that come close to Autek Mor's stat line of strength and toughness 5. So reading his background in the book, there is an interesting little bit, and just let me read this to you. Both Iron Lord and Iron Father to the Morrigold clan company, Autek Mor held a sinister reputation within his legion, and dark rumours accompanied him long before the outbreak of the Horus Heresy, included whispered accusations that the origins of his gene seed, or perhaps his bloodline, were not as they should be. A Terran by birth, he he was part of the 10th Legion's first intake and fought in the reconquest of the Sol system. He held field command by the time of his Primarch's finding, having already developed a reputation both as a weaponsmith and a malevolent soul, already having killed several of his own legion in duels over slights to his honour and ruling his company with a cruel and unforgiving fist. So what's very interesting in that little bit of lore is the points around the dubious nature, or the shrouded nature of his bloodline, and that, coupled with his very high strength and toughness stats, has led me to speculate that Autek Mor could be one of two things. Firstly, is he an ex-Thunder Warrior? So why do I think he could be a Thunder Warrior? Well, strength and toughness 5, that fits with their stat line, or I say stat line. No stats have been produced on them, but it feels consistent with their brute strength type depiction. The fact he's slower than a normal Marine, initiative step 4, and the fact that he only has 3 attacks, so he's not as nimble an opponent as a normal equivalent Marine either. So yeah, the combination of those factors make me suspect that Autek Mor could possibly be a Thunder Warrior who has somehow managed to get into the Iron Hands Legion, and the fact that he's Terran by birth supports that. I have another alternate idea, and again this is around the origins of his gene seed, or perhaps his bloodline not being as they should be. Could Autek Mor be a rejected Adeptus Custodes? We've recently got the stat lines for the Custodes, and they are strength and toughness 5, and also in the heresy era they're initiative 4. So yeah, perhaps it feels like, given his hero level, he may be a little bit low for a Custodes, but if he's some failed or rejected Custodes, or perhaps an outcast, that might stack up. So yeah, what do you think? Do you think Autek Mor could be a Thunder Warrior, or indeed a rejected member of the Adeptus Custodes? I'll be very interested to see what you have to say in the comments section. Anyway, thank you very much for listening as always. I'll speak to you later, and goodbye.